Live. Coming up in this edition, Ghana Investment Promotion Center attributes an increase in investor interest to the country securing an International Monetary Fund program.
The country in itself is endowed with significant resources that are quite important for many other countries. We are resource rich, very much like the continent. The fact that we have gold, diamonds, bauxite, iron ore, manganese, salt, oil and gas, and more recently lithium, makes us particularly interesting in resetting the global economy, especially in these times of climate change.
Chairman of National Development Planning Commission blames bad contractual agreements for Ghana's high capital flights in the extractive sector.
The incidence of capital flights, especially in gold, and for that matter, it's not only in gold, a lot of our minerals, including oil, I think to a large degree is our own making because of the outmoded agreements.
Plus, Ghana Statistical Service launches its maiden statistics bank as Tim Bedrenberg from the University of Cape Coast emerges winner for the 2023 hackathon.
Only way we can end these fluctuations in our cyclical development is what we are trying to do today, which is the Statistics Bank.
And we are live with the winners here on Business Live. We've got details of these and many more coming your way all in a moment. Please stay. Always a pleasure to have you on. I am Pius Kojo Baka. Let's now look at our stories. And the Ghana Investment Promotion Center has attributed a surge in investor interest in the economy to the country securing a program with the International Monetary Fund. The economy came under pressure in 2021, forcing some investors to sell off Ghana bonds, while some donor partners suspended funding to the country. But Chief Executive of the Center, Yofi Grant, says the fund program has given some optimism to investors about the outlook for the economy.
The country in itself is endowed with significant resources that are quite important for many other countries. We are resource rich, very much like the continent. The fact that we have gold, diamonds, bauxite, iron ore, manganese, salt, oil and gas, and more recently lithium, makes us particularly interesting in resetting the global economy, especially in these times of climate change, where these minerals, most of them called transition minerals, are in Ghana. And they are required for Industry 4.0 going into now Industry 5.0, the digital age. And so they are very important. But beyond that, Ghana also is very well imbued with significant agro resources. About 60% of our land mass is a possible agricultural land. It's estimated that we have some 13 million acres of very fertile land which can be used for agriculture. So in terms of the resources, we are very well positioned. In terms of the policy orientation too, we seem to have demonstrated very clearly that we want to establish an economy of transformation. First, by ensuring that we educate our kids to be able to take over an economy of a value-added economy by providing them free education at the senior high school level. And I keep saying that in the medium term, the minimum education of the average Ghanaian will be high school education. That is very significant for transforming an economy into a highly complex and sophisticated one, against what we've known from long, where we just dig up our resources and export them in their raw form. But beyond that too, we have clearly set ourselves on the path of transformation with value addition. And the President's view that we should stop exporting our raw materials and resources and add value to them before exporting is very instructive, not only for Ghana, but the African continent. Because the bane of African economics is the fact that we just export all our raw materials and import finished goods from those very same raw materials, which hasn't done well, doesn't augur well for transforming wealth on the continent. And for us, where there's a huge youth bracket, there is a need to create a new narrative for the African continent.
Now, the chairman of the National Development Planning Commission, Professor George Jan Baffour, has blamed bad contractual agreements by successive governments for the high rate of capital flights in the country's natural resources. According to him, the continuous adoption of outdated contracts with disincentives such as the stability clause contributes to the high rate of capital flights in the extractive sector. He made the remarks at the launch of a report put together by Professor Luhans Ndikuma. The study investigates domestic and global drivers of capital flight from selected African countries, including Ghana, Cameroon, and Zambia, which are significantly endowed with natural resources. According to the research, Ghana lost about $56 billion in capital flight as compared to the $2 trillion lost by Africa from 1970 to 2018. Although the research states that Ghana has recorded a 30% growth in private wealth over the last decade, not much has been done to build the capacity of indigenous businessmen to invest in the value chain of the country's natural resources. Professor Luhans Ndikuma is an economics professor at the University of Massachusetts Amherst.
In the case of Ghana, we have estimated that Ghana has lost up to $50 billion over the past 5 decades. That's money that has left out of country without being recorded. Money that accumulates value abroad, but only for the private asset holders. And some of it goes through what we call trade misinvoicing, which is when traders misreport the value of either imports or exports or both. We have decided to focus on cocoa and gold because these are the big sectors in the economy. And we find that in the case of gold, generally, I would say that the country is not getting its fair share.
With 110 multimillionaires and private wealth worth about $56 billion, this is what Professor Luhans had to say on building capacity of local businessmen.
Individual private wealth is growing fast in Ghana, actually much faster than average in the continent. If you look at the most recent reports, they estimate that private wealth in Ghana, by individuals, is about 56 billion. But that belongs to a very small number of people. The number of very rich people who have more than $10 million cash, because it doesn't include the value of real estate, houses, and so on. It's money, liquidity that they have in their portfolio. There are only 110 Ghanaians who own more than $10 million. On a positive side, it means that there are Ghanaians who have the money to invest in these mineral resources.
Chairman of the National Development Planning Commission, Professor George Jan Bafo, blames the capital flight in the mineral sector to outdated agreements.
But the incidence of capital flight, especially in gold, and for that matter, it's not only in gold, a lot of our minerals, including oil, I think to a large degree is our own making because of the outmoded agreements that we have had with these corporations. There is a section in these agreements which normally is referred to as the stability clause. And this stability clause says that, the corporations can keep all the foreign exchange that they earn outside this country. It is written in black and white.
The report put together by Professor Luhans Ndikuma is titled Capital Flight from Africa and Perverse Global Connections, Analysis and Possible Solutions. Let's do something on agriculture, and insurance sector players have been urged to explore opportunities within the agricultural sector. This according to the Director of Research Consultancy and International Relations at the African College of Insurance and Social Protection, Dr. Nselmi. His key is to increasing the penetration rate on the continent. He spoke to Joy Business at the launch of the International Certification in Inclusive Insurance.
Agricultural insurance, according to the International Labour Organization, reduces the financial risk and uncertainty faced by farmers and help them manage their production and income more effectively. According to Dr. Nselmi, a policy direction is key to offer a way to reduce volatility, strengthen resilience, and support productivity growth in the agricultural sector.
Today, Africa is standing at a penetration of 2.8% for GDP in the insurance sector. And when you look at social protection and particularly pensions, we are looking at a 5% penetration. for insurance, the global average is 6%, so we are halfway down the line. For pension, the global average is 12%, so we are also more than halfway down the line. Now, looking at the other paradigms, looking at the demographics, Africa is expected to have a population of 2.5 billion people come 2050. Now, if the current level of insurance coverage remain the same, we'll have more than 2 billion uninsured people. Economic analysis of growth of China shows that the agriculture sector had 6 times contribution to its tremendous achievement, more than the manufacturing and the tertiary sector or the service sector. Therefore, there is evidence already that if we do properly in the agriculture sector, we will be able to transform the other sector in the overall economy.
Country Director for the Young Insurance Professionals, Lawrence Daniels, expressed optimism of the sector improving on its penetration rate.
Now, as I mentioned earlier, we have on-earth market like the climate change and the likes. So if you have this training, if you go through this rigorous training, you have the insight and the knowledge in order to come up with solutions, insurance policies that will answer those questions, so that we will be able to on-earth that market and get policies and solutions. In that regard, it will affect our insurance penetration positively, since we've gotten a market and gotten a product for that particular market.
The Young Insurance Professionals Ghana is poised to creating a network of young insurance professionals for the purpose of exchanging information and ideas, as well as providing platform for continuous and career growth. James Ishen's reports for Joy Business.
More within the sector, and the Chief Executive of Cocoa Board, Joseph Boahin-Edu, has noted that some farmers in the Bono and Ahafo regions are reverting to planting cocoa after factors such as low cocoa prices forced some farmers into other crops. He describes the development as refreshing. Speaking to the media after a tour of the regions to engage cocoa farmers on improved practices, Mr. Edu says cocoa, being the central pillar of the economy, requires that everything should be done by all stakeholders to sustain its production. Precious Semevo has more.
The Chief Executive of the Ghana Cocoa Board, Joseph Boahin-Edu, and other top officials toured the Bono, Ahafo, and Bono East regions for 4 days to engage the cocoa farmers to appreciate the situations on the ground, correctional and recovery missions, as well as encourage sustainable farming practices that ensure better yields. Speaking to the media after the tour in Sunyani, Mr. Edu encouraged hand pollination with a call on farmers not to burn after weeding, since it destroys both the micro and macroorganisms in the soil. He said the future of cocoa sector depends on organic production and more needs to be done in the regions.
Nowhere did we get any farmer producing 20 bags per acre, whereas in other regions you have farmers producing 20 bags per acre. Or because they've not been following the productivity enhancement programs. If the cocoa industry is to be sustainable, then it ought to be more of organic production. It's healthier, environmentally friendly, and it's sustainable. In that sense, we came and been telling the farmers that they should apply more and more of poultry manure. It's the best. Apart from stabilizing the soil, it's organic and it doesn't cause any harm to the environment. We are also asking them to do a lot of pruning.
Mr. Edu expressed delight with a situation where farmers are stepping back to plant more cocoa than other crops because of improved conditions.
The competition of cocoa and then cashew in Brongafo. Sometimes our price was so low, and so we have a lot of farmers cutting cocoa farms, converting them to cashew. This time around, when we went around, we've seen farmers now stepping back, to plant cocoa, and then converting cashew to cocoa, which for us, is a very welcome news. Some are even planting cocoa under the cashew trees. That to us is very positive. But whether we like it or not, Cocoa is a mainstay of our national economy, and we ought to sustain it. Cocoa is there so far as we can get water or rain to cultivate cocoa. It will be there forever for us.
Precious Semevo Joy Business, Sunyai.
This is still Business Life. More after this break. Hello, welcome back to Business Life with me, Pius Kojo Baka. Let's continue with the rest of our stories and data. They say is the new gold, hence the importance of a data system in the dissemination of information. Well, this is why the Ghana Statistical Service, in collaboration with Statistics Denmark, made available Stat Bank, which is an online database containing disaggregated data from the 2021 population and housing census, as well as other national surveys. Now, we will pretty soon hear from government statistician, but this is where I would like to bring in my colleague Isaac Kofieji, data and research analyst with Joy News, here in the studio to break it down for us. Isaac, walk us through what this Stats Bank is all about.
Well, Pius, I'm actually happy about this very important, display you see on the touch screen, because we consume data here a lot at Joy News and then Joy FM, and I'm happy that the Statistical Service has actually put out this Stat Bank, which is going to help us policymakers and other institutions who work with data. And so the main idea is to make data, very sweet for the ordinary Ghanaian to also understand. And that's why they put together this Stat Bank. So if you just type Stats Bank, you can have access to what is being displayed on the touch screen. This will be your landing page, and when you land here, you can see download geo files and then also more, and you can go ahead to choose what you want. So I have with me here some of the key indicators that you can actually select from, and I'm so happy about this because now I can just come here and get commodity prices. So we are talking about inflation figures and other important figures relating to commodity prices. I can also come to, fiscal policy and fiscal data, where, as you can see, I can get information on some monthly, bulletins on Ghana's debt stock and other things. There's also international finance, very important. This is the time that we are talking about how much Ghana is owing, who we've borrowed from, and other things. We have trade data. Recently, the Ghana Statistical Service just published the, trade vulnerability report and how it is important in our consumption of data. And so I'm happy about this particular website that we see, portal that we see, that is going to help us. We can hear from the government statistician when we actually launched this important Stat Bank.
As a country, a global community, that Ghana's development is characterized by cyclical fluctuations. And we are clear in our minds as a service that the only way we can end these fluctuations in our cyclical development is what we are trying to do today, which is the Statistics Bank. You did indicate that it is a repository of data, and I'm happy to respond to one of the questions from Raymond, why we are calling it a bank. Chair and colleagues, it is clear out there that every investment, a $1 investment in a data system, please, I didn't say data production, a data system, has a returns of $32 at the minimum. And for developing countries like ours, the returns can go as high as $73. Hence the name a Statistics Bank. So the output is that it is a repository of data set, but we are associating it with a bank because that is what is going to unleash the potential, the transformation that we seek to get as a country.
So on the back of this is where I would like to bring in the team, data genesis from the University of Cape Coast, basically, who came second, sorry, I beg your pardon, and the team Robust Research from the UCC came third. But the winners, that's the team, Bajimba, are here with me in studio to tell me more about the hackathon and their project that won the ultimate award. Great guys, you could join me here on Business Live. Good to see you and congratulations to you.
Thank you so much.
All right, so either of you can take it up. What project got you this award?
Our project is called the Towncraft. Okay, and Towncraft is based on data we analyzed from the GSS Stat Bank. Okay, so we analyzed this data and found out that most leaders in our societies just come up with projects. Maybe let's build a road, let's build a school, let's build a hospital. So we analyzed the data and found out that certain projects need certain kinds of priorities. Okay, so these priority levels, we analyze it through Towncraft, our web application. Okay, so yes.
I see. So what next for you?
Yeah, so right now we are taking up the project. Of course, we had an MVP for this particular competition, but moving on, we are looking at deploying Towncraft to make it easy, accessible to everyone across the country. And just about anyone, be it a district assembly member, an MP, even a regular person like regular Ghanaians, will be able to go there, understand the data that the GSS has collected, have insights from it, and also be able to make decisions or even help assist policymakers in also prioritizing infrastructure development in their community.
Great. So this is of great importance to all of us, but does it come at a cost?
Okay, right now we haven't planned of that. So going on, maybe we'll take that initiative.
Great, great. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me in studio for this great initiative and this great feat you guys have achieved. All right, so that's it for Business Live for today. I am Pius Kojo Baka. Let's get connected same time next week. Do enjoy the rest of our programs. For more stories, do log on to myjoyonline.com/business. Always a joy serving you. Bye.